Hi and welcome back. So this is the third video on data classes. So in this video I'm going to talk about the orderings of data classes. So we'll see that by default data classes don't really have an ordering, but we can easily enforce an ordering on them. However, in many cases you also want to alter that ordering, and we'll see how to do that as well. So that's enough introduction, let's head into the code. So from the data class module I've imported data class and also something called a field. We'll see how to use this field thing in a minute. So first of all, let's make a data class. So let's start by using the data class decorator, and then I'll make a class called RGB color. So this here will simply be a class for keeping track of a color. So this should have a few attributes. So it should have a red value, which is an integer. It should have a blue value, which is also an integer, and a green value, which is an integer as well. So I'm thinking that these values should be between 0 and 255, where 0 is none of that color and 255 is all of that color. So let's for now just leave it at that, and let's make a few instances. So let's make red. So this is our RGB color, and let's initiate this with red being 255, so the highest, blue being 0, and green being 0. That's fine. And let's also make something called almost white. So for the almost white color, I want to make red almost full. So this is 254. And then blue and green should both be at full capacity. And now let's see if we have some ordering. So I can ask, is red actually greater than almost white? So let's run this. And here you can see a result. We get a type error saying that, yeah, greater than is not really supported between instances of RGB color. So by default in data classes, orderings are not included. However, as you probably suspect, there's a very easy way to do this, and that's actually to go up into the decorator here. So first of all, specifying the decorator as this or as this is actually the same. We can also pass in order equals false. This is automatically done when you create a data class by default. There are also other arguments that you can look at. For instance, init is by default set to true, so these fields here are initialized through a dunder init method and so on. I won't really talk about that now, but the important thing is order is by default set to false, so you can just set it to true here. And now, if you compare them, then the ordering works, so we get true back. And now you should stop and wonder, well, it works, but do I really want to get true back? So I'm asking if red is greater than almost white. And the reason for that is that by default, the ordering is what I would call a dictionary ordering. So what it does is to go into each of the objects and then first compare the first value, and there red is greater than almost white, so then red wins. If there is a tie, they will go to the second attribute and so on, and compare all the way further down. So for the ordering, as you probably understand, it's really important which direction you have these. Say now that I take my blue and say, okay, let me just write the blue first, like this. Let me run the code. And now it's false. Why is it false? Because now the first thing that's compared is the blue value. And of course, the almost white has way higher blue value than red. So the ordering here really matters. Let me go back to just how I had it with red, blue, and green. And as you can probably see, if I would have any sense of decency, I would put it in order red, green, and blue, because that's the abbreviation RGB. And this is really important that by the default ordering, a lot of this implementation of how the ordering is done is kind of hidden in the ordering you choose here. So sometimes you might want to do this, but other times not. So for instance, for colors, without going into too much technical detail, I think it would be more appropriate to have, say, the sum of all three values being the thing that's compared rather than just a single one of them. That makes it so that red is kind of taking precedence over blue and green, which doesn't really make sense because each of them are equally, let's say, valuable in a color. Let me just put down this here. So the second question is, how can we introduce a custom order? So in a previous video, we talked about equality. And how did we implement like a custom equality? We just customized a double underscore EQ method. So it's very tempting to just go into the class and make a greater or equal dunder method, as you've probably seen previously, to overwrite the behavior. However, that will actually result in an error. There's a specified way to do this with data classes. So let's do this in a few steps. What you need to do is to first add a field here that will work as the sorting index. Sort index, and it's really not important what you call it. Sort index is kind of a convention, so I'll use that. It's typically appropriate. So this is an integer, and I want to say that this is a special field. So really, when it comes to terminology, all of these are called fields, But here I want to specify some extra information about this rather than just saying, yeah, it's a generic integer field. And this is what this field function here is for. So what I want to specify is that during the init method of the class, this should not be set. So I want to set init to false. Why do I want to do that? The reason I want to do that is because I want to implement a very special method called Post-init. And the Post-init does what the name suggests. So after the init method works with initiating the variables, you have this Post-init method that then runs where you can set new attributes based on the previously set attributes. So that's definitely a mouthful, but let me try to explain this. So here you have self, and now I can set the self.sort index. And let me for simplicity again just set it to be equal to the sum. So before I explain how this all works, let's just run it. And now we can see actually that we get false. Remember that we asked whether red is bigger than almost white. We get now a false because they're compared on this condition here. So let me try to explain what happens. What's happening now is that the post-init method is called after the init function. Then I can set the self.sortIndex. Now I can access the attributes that are set in the init method. Now all of these are well defined and I can take their sum. They're stored in self.sortIndex. The reason the sortIndex attribute is not set previously is because I specified here I don't want it to be initialized. And this is also important that the attribute that is set here in the post-init method is the one that by default it's sorted on. Personally, even though this works, I'm not kind of a big fan of this because it's a lot of like implicit assumption about how things work. But in any case, this is how you set orderings with data classes. And just to show you, you can use not only greater than, but of course you can use, let's say, less than or less than equal. So let's do less than equal, almost right. And here you can see the output. So all of the four variants like greater than equal, less than equal, they've all been set now. So you don't need to write this massive amount of boilerplate just to be able to compare elements. That's definitely nice. A final thing I want to mention, so I've already mentioned the init here, specifying that the sort index should not be part of the init method. Another thing that's a bit annoying now is that if I print out, let's print out red, just to see. And here's the printing. So focus on this line here. Here you have sort index is 255, and then you have red, blue, and green. And here you're kind of providing a bit of a redundant information because we're just calculating sort index by the others. And also if you put yourself in the shoes of an end user of this object, then really part of the data that you get shouldn't really be how it's sorted. This should just be kind of an implementation detail that's hidden from the end user. But by default, all of the fields that are provided here are presented in the representation. So what I want to do is not have this sort index here for the end user, just that it's implemented under the hood. And as you probably suspect, inside the field here, init is not the only thing you can set. So you can also set Repr and set this to false. So both of these init and Repr have a default value and that's true. So if I set this to false and run the program again, then you can see now that the second time the sort index is not part of the representation. So this is the way I typically do it when I use orderings for data classes. I create a sort index, I set it inside the post-init method, and also I set the field values to be init false and Repr false. That way the sorting happens under the hood and I can customize it any way I want. So that's it for this video. I hope this helps you understand how orderings work with data classes. In the next video, we're going to talk about immutability, meaning how we can make it so that data classes are not mutable objects. If you like the content we're providing here, then like, subscribe, and I'll see you again in a future video.